Hello everyone and welcome to My Community on Afrocentric Television channel 15.8. This is a show that revolves around the African community in Texas and by extension the United States. My name is Kola and joining us today are three important guests, and we are treating two very important issues. Two women, wearing different hats. They are mothers, they are business women, they are singers, they are homemakers, they are, just awesome people, I would say. They will be talking about the importance of men in the lives of, not just men, but fathers in the lives of their children and even their lives as a family. Because this Sunday is going to be Father's Day. See, we're always talking about mothers, and even I almost said mothers, but it's Father's Day and we need to appreciate our fathers more. So we have these beautiful women and mothers to talk about how important the role of a father is in the lives of the children and the family as a whole. And secondly, one of the major challenges we've been experiencing in the United States, especially here in Houston, is the intervention, is the, where we get to look to get our Nigerian passports. It's been an issue, ongoing issue for the time past. I had to travel to go get mine because I just cannot deal with all this. But I wish my children could get their Nigerian passports, and I wish my wife could get hers renewed without having to travel also because of the risk involved. However, he is here to talk about it. Mr. Yobami will be here to talk about the challenges we face and why there needs to be a restructuring, and why the advocacy to have an intervention system here in Houston, Texas needs to come into play. Well, stay tuned for more of our segments coming up with health segment and the sports, and of course our entertainment with Fauzi Amino. Well, stay tuned. Don't touch the dial.
Welcome back to Afrocentric TV channel 15.8. It's me, Fauzi Aminu, and it's great to know that you're still tuned in because I love to keep you entertained, okay? This week, I'll be dropping some tea on some things that have gone down this past week and pitting you onto my top 3 songs as per usual. So yeah, that's that. First off, I want to start by telling you that there's a massacre going on in Sudan right now, and it's not being talked about enough. Over 1,000 people, including women and children, have been reported as missing, killed, or raped. Bodies have been found floating in the Nile, and it's really just a tragic situation. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, please say a prayer for Sudan. Speed Darlington has announced his issues with Naija Loaded, or is it not just okay? I don't know, I'm confused. Because they have uploaded his music for free, and I'm just gonna let you guys watch the video right now because I cannot. Well, you've heard Naija Loaded take his song down.
Naija Loaded, is it true that you posted my song for free download? You want me to pay for you? I work hard, you post my song for free so people can download it. Take my song down off of your free download. I'm out here killing myself trying to make a living. You posting my song for free. Eh?
On this week's edition of Talk Smack on the Internet and Get Smacked in Real Life, Instagram influencer Pamilari Omoyalogi was issued a slap from Peruzzi over some comments he made a while back. He took to Twitter streets to state an opinion, and when Peruzzi got a hold of him, he showed him that the internet is one thing and then the streets is another thing. Peruzzi has since apologized for the slap, and I'm hoping that this is just water under the bridge for the two very soon. My top 3 songs this week are Alakari by Dice, Eyelids and Fouls the Bad Guy, Malik Berry and Gold Link, Zulu Screams, and last but not least, States and Capital by The 20. That song really never fails to get my spirits up. I love it. Thank you guys for joining me once again. It's Fauzi Aminu. Catch me here, same place, same time. Yeah, it's Afrocentric TV, man. Stay locked in.
If your shipping company delays your shipment for 3 months or more via ocean, you need a new shipper. If your shipments have been dropped off and are yet to leave after 2 weeks, you need a new shipper. If your shipments were lost or damaged during transit and there is no compensation, then you definitely need a new shipper. Every day your items are delayed, your hard-earned money goes to waste, and your receivers are denied the benefits of using those items. And in most cases, there are no compensation. It is time for a new experience with ocean shipping, and Ship to Nigeria now offers you that experience. Ocean shipments are delivered within 6 to 8 weeks to Nigeria, or we will refund 25% of your shipping costs. We will refund in full your declared value and your shipping cost within 48 hours if anything happens to your shipments. You can get 247 alerts, online tracking, emails, and text messages. With 3 containers leaving every week, we no go give story. We will deliver when we say we will and to any location in Nigeria. Try us today and get 10% off your first shipment.
Ship to Nigeria, as good as taking it there yourself.
Welcome to My Community on Afrocentric Television Channel 15.8. As we promised y'all, it's going to be Father's Day this weekend, and we have 2 of our, I would say, significant women here in Houston. Very beautiful wives of good men, because it's going to be Father's Day. Of course, they are married. They've been married for a while, and also they are mothers, and they wear different hats at every and any point in time, and yet they were still able to keep their home because they have a good man. I have with us today Ashley Aborisade. She's a businesswoman, a mother, and a wife, and she's very, very hands-on and involved in everything she does. And also, our second guest on the same show is Tommy Favored. You guys may know her as Mrs. Alesh, right? And she's also an author, a speaker, singer, songwriter, and also a wife. So let's weigh in on how they're able to, sustain all this lifestyle they're living, which is wearing different hats, doing different things, because they were able to have a man support them, I would say. Because as Africans, we like to be dominant as men. We like it. But some of us are like, you know what? This is my wife. She's not to be on the recessive side. She's my partner, my friend. Give me your take on how you were able to, Ash, how you were able to cope this. First off, tell us how long you've been married, and how many children you have, if you have any, and also what you do and how you've been able to cope.
Okay, so I have been married to my husband Toby for 5 years next month, and we have 2 beautiful children together. We do business together, we do ministry together. We really work as a team. I would say that's how we make it work. Before I met him, I was, a career woman. I traveled. I did what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I went around doing trainings for folks, and I had really gotten comfortable with that. But when I married him, I became an instant mom. Right, he already had a daughter.
I can imagine.
And
also, he had a daughter before.
He had a daughter,
okay.
and I became a mom and a wife in a matter of like a span of months. Moved away from my family from Oklahoma City to Houston and started this new life. So really in the beginning, he had to take the lead because I had no idea what I was doing. Okay, it took a lot of patience on both of our part to kind of develop a way and a system. I used to work full-time in business, and at some point it just didn't make any sense anymore for me to do that.
Overwhelming.
It was overwhelming. I was stressed out. I was not the woman that he married. I didn't feel like that. I looked him in the eye and I said, we need a new plan.
I'll come back to that. Let me hear from Tommy.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I I'm blessed to be married to Shay Elesh. He's a renowned saxophone player. He travels all the time. And when we got married, I was an LVN. I still am. I still work as a nurse. But our first year of marriage, we've been married for 6 years, by the way. And so I got pregnant our first year of marriage. And so we immediately stepped into the shoes of becoming parents, which neither of us had been before. But it was such a blessing to have a supportive husband. You know, I think his upbringing, he has 3 sisters, 4 sisters actually.
So he probably has that experience of dealing with women.
Yes, he's been dealing with women, and he had a very great mom who taught him a lot about, you know, being a supportive man.
I love when women talk about their mother-in-laws like that.
Yeah, and
you know, they keep forgetting, but one of the things they keep forgetting that sooner or later, there will be that mother-in-law.
It'll be the mother-in-law, right? We all will be, yeah.
And I think I respect his mother-in-law. Unfortunately, I never did actually get to meet her. She passed away before we got married.
Oh.
But I value that woman in absentia, because everything she instilled into my husband made him such a great husband and father. You know, I tell people, I say it jokingly, but I say the only thing my husband can't do is breastfeed, because God did not give him the
Well, we substitute that for custard sometimes.
Exactly.
Right? But you know, you did say something earlier, Ashley. You said something about, you know, having to step into that shoes to become a mother, and you also to be an instant mom, because your relationship just kicked off and already, you know, immediately you got pregnant. That's a blessing, by the way, because a lot of people long for this and they don't get it. And you know, your marriage came with one, and because you have a supportive husband, things had to happen certain ways, right?
Yes.
However, for you to fit in, you were stressed. Right.
Yeah, so really, my husband, I really think he was raised very well too. You know, he's a man of faith. He applies wisdom to things he does, and that is certainly and definitely why we are able to do all that we do. You know, his leadership in that sense. I had to probably do most of the adjusting, most of the compromising, I guess you would say, kind of put some things on the back burner. And did I just happily do that from day one? No. I'm just
it's a transitional season, right?
Right. He is a leader. I'm also a leader, right? So we had to learn how to speak a common language. What is important to you? What things can you
Let me chip in on that. You had to speak a common language because you were deliberate. You wanted that relationship to work.
Right.
Whatever you don't want to just be the leader, or he has to be the leader. Something has to trigger something, and for that something to trigger, what? One of you had to like take a chill, like, okay, you lead. You have to be deliberate about it, right?
What I learned over time, and I'm still learning now, is that the more I really let him flow in his gifts, the more space and time I have to flow in mine, right? I don't need to step up and do things that he's already good at doing.
No competition.
I call my husband Pastor Money. I know that
because he speaks money.
He speaks money. He's good at it. You know.
So there's no reason for you to compete with him in that, despite doing business, the same kind of business, and working together as a partner.
Right, but you know, I'm good at marketing. I'm good at relationships. I'm good at hospitality, and so I allow myself to work in that space.
Strength.
Yeah, and I definitely believe that what I bring to the table helps him.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. Yeah.
And you. So you are a nurse, a mother, a songwriter, a speaker. Because I was someone, I remember the Free Worshiper song, the last time you were there, you played, and I enjoyed it. I was like, don't make me cry today. But
I actually love your music too. I have it in my car, in the player.
See, your husband is also a saxophonist, and amongst many other things he probably does, right? He still lets you flourish in your own gifts. Same thing her husband did, and she found that understanding in her husband. You let your husband do what he does best, but in his absence, however, you step in to do certain things, I'm sure. How does that make you feel about the man you married, that he allowed you to let your gift blossom
It's a blessing for me. I'm joyful. I'm grateful for it, and at the same time, it gives me a better understanding of what God intended in marriage. God didn't intend for two halves to come together and become one. It was two whole people. You have two intelligent, independent, smart people who come together. And you mentioned something significant, which was someone had to back off a little bit. You know, there's that submission thing. Usually, it's a big issue for women because you think submit means, you know, become
being a coward,
subverted. You think submission is being overruled.
But don't get it twisted, though.
But
lately, however, you'll see those famous women. I don't want to use names, but you see them advocating for women this, women rights, women this, women right. However, they are single women. Are they drawing people to themselves, making men insignificant? Or what are they really driving at? So we need women like you to speak up some more for men, right? Because from what I'm hearing both of you talk about today is that men are significant in your life and as much as you are in their lives, right? How come we don't get enough of that lately? The new generation, there's this trend going on. I don't understand it.
Well, I think there's definitely a history of men who have taken, who have abused their power in
But how
marriage,
many
in
are
family,
they? That's the
right?
thing.
You know, there are many cases and instances, but what I really think is important is that, you know, as women, when we step into marriage, we have to recognize that there needs to be a different part of us, an evolved version of us to make it work. And the sooner we realize that, the sooner our marriage will start working. I can definitely not just wake up tomorrow and plan a month-long trip somewhere to go and organize a show or something. I can't do that anymore. It's just not possible for me. So I have to, you know, there are women who can do that in their marriages, depending on the kind of marriage you have, the type of support you have, etc. But I have to work with my marriage and my family, right? My husband is probably the one who does most of the traveling, right? So I need to be here with the little ones, you know? I need to kind of make myself as flexible as possible.
I need to chip in there because you are secured, because you feel secured, because you feel the trust in him.
Sure.
He travels, anything can happen. They are exposed to any and everything. You're talking money. The women already know he got money. Or since he's talking about money, he's able to travel, he's able to do this. They're paying him to do certain things. That's probably, and he's married, he's responsible. That's what those single girls are looking for.
Yeah, I mean, we grew to that space.
You grew to that space, and that's what I'm saying. Because you feel secured in your space, he, you know, you've molded each other to what you have become today, and you're loving it. Of course, there are ups and downs, right? Those times that you feel down, how do you manage situations like that?
I'll let you answer that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I was gonna piggyback off of what you said initially. As far as trust, I tell people, no one has a choice in loving my husband or liking my husband. You will like this person because God has given this person gifts, talents, and things that will attract you to them. It's supposed to attract people to them. It's like you see a celebrity, they're supposed to be attractive.
Yeah,
They
like
carry
the last
something
time he
that's
played,
supposed
I'm sure people were just giving him cards, and like, you know, you can imagine a jealous wife would be like, "Who's that woman?"
So if you're a foolish wife, you will be jealous and try to attack everyone who is attracted to your husband, but you're fighting the wrong battle. You have to fight the godly battle of you and God, and then you and your spouse, because you can't control everyone else. I can't control it if a woman sees my husband and wants to expose herself to my husband. I can't handle that. She's probably crazy. But the person who has the responsibility,
of withdrawing,
good men come into the picture, is you see that and you're like, you don't have a choice. You can be crazy, but I'm the one with the common sense. I know I have a wife and children, and I'm a faithful man, and so I'm going to walk away from you. So it goes back to the responsible husband. He doesn't have a choice. Just like he doesn't have a choice if another man finds me attractive, or if another man is drawn to my gifts. It's not that man's responsibility to keep my home. It's mine to say, no, I have a husband, I value my marriage, and I'm going to protect it. And so
I'll ask you women something very, very significant. You've been married. there was something that drew you into that man. In your case, despite the fact that he's had a child, which is against the norm in Africa, I would say. He had a child before coming into that marriage. In your case, he's been playing, he's been exposed to people before you get married to. What gave you the goal to say, okay, this is a good man? What did you see in him beyond the physical, beyond what everybody else had seen or would have seen, that would make you say, this is the guy? Because I said something earlier, you have, in a relationship, you have to be intentional. Remember, today we're talking about fathers. We're talking about good men. We're not talking about someone that is in an abusive relationship. You know, we're talking about the good ones that we never ever get to celebrate, right? What drew you to him that makes you feel like this is the right person?
For me, it's a couple of things. One, I like who I am when I'm with him. He holds me to a high standard. He has his character is intact, so it really brings out the best in me. He's a very responsible guy, you know, so it brings out that side of me. And he helped me to grow up in a way. I mean, I lost my father when I was 11 years old.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I've healed from it, definitely, but I definitely love that he's a great father. He's not my father, but to have this sort of environment, this kind of ecosystem where everybody is allowed to have space, allowed to think, allowed to share, that's a really beautiful thing. And I do think it brings out the best in a woman when she has that kind of environment. And it brings out the best in the children as well. So I like how he is as a person, and I like the person that he brings out of me. And then secondly, I really love the kind of father he is. You know, he's very hands-on. He does soccer games. He does movie dates.
Those outdoor things for
you
the
know,
children.
anything you decide in this life that is a must for you, you will find a way to make it happen.
That's what I said about being intentional.
Yes, if you decide I'm going to be a great father, despite work, but despite business, despite other relationships you have, despite ministry, if you decide I'm going to be a good father, I'm going to make time for my children every week, you'll do it, right? So it is very apparent to me that my husband has decided as a person, I'm going to be a great father, I'm going to be a great husband. And I see him consistently taking steps toward that. And so that's what I really appreciate about him. Is he a perfect guy? No, he doesn't do housework. He doesn't,
Not
you know,
all of us
he's kind of fussy
does.
sometimes and all that, but at the end of the day, for his role, he does a great
tend to pick
job.
the positive part of it. To me.
Yeah, for me, I think it was just compassion. I saw compassion in my husband. He was just a really sensitive, deliberate person when it comes to people in general. So when you talk about being intentional in marriage, he was very intentional with people. And a lot of people don't know this, but at this point I talk about it a lot. When we first met, my mom got sick and she had a stroke. And one of the first things my soon-to-be at that time husband did was to drive almost 2 hours to come to the hospital and be with my mom.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, whoa, who is this person? You know, my sisters were like, who is this guy? You know, he's just a friend. I don't think he's just a friend for someone to literally take days off of whatever he was doing just to be there, not even just for me directly, you know, because you would think, oh, okay, this person is just coming for me.
Yeah, because of what he's going to get out of
let's
it.
go out
Yeah.
to eat or whatever. No, but he sat in the hospital for 2-3 days with my mom, just holding her hand.
Don't cry.
You know?
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
You know, and our first year of marriage, both my mom and dad got sick. So it was crazy. It just kept getting worse and worse. And our first year of marriage, I would wake up, shower my mom, dress her up, and my husband would go to my dad's room, wake him up, shower him, dress him up, and we were literally living with my parents our first year of marriage. It was like, who is this person who can be so compassionate and so deliberate about relationships? So it was just compassion. I just saw like God loving me. I even wrote a song about it. I said, whenever I see you, I see God loving me.
Oh, that was for him and about him. Now I know.
Yeah, and it was a love
Sheyi,
song.
Sheyi. He has stolen someone's heart.
It was a love song, because I was like, oh my gosh, you know, it's one thing to say, oh, I love you and blah, 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 but sometimes you can say I love you without even saying the words because of how you act and how you relate with people and how you're intentional about meeting their needs.
Beautiful. So, having learned from all of these things, what are your messages for young men, aspiring fathers, because I mean it takes one thing to become a father. And before I even go there, something popped up in my head now. I want y'all to advocate for men if possible. I mean for men if possible. Let's allow your children to love their father. They don't really see that fatherly love. They don't really see it. Men don't cry, they say, right? We're very, very emotional. If you look deep, you will find it. We probably just don't express it because we think it's a sign of weakness, and we just have to be strong for our families, right? So we probably don't express it as much as we should. And women don't, some women I would say, don't support that too, because even when the man goes to hustle and struggle and just make sure everything is right in the house, and but they let the mother take the lead on taking care of the children, so that's all the children sees, the mother love, the mother's love, and the compassion, those things that the father is too, just at that point in time, could be too weak to express, right? They go to the grocery store, I bought you this. No, we brought you this, right? And that's one of the things I appreciate my wife for. She carries me along everything. Even if I wasn't the one that did it, she will say, we did it. And my children are quick to say thank you to everything. And they would say, if they go to my wife and say thank you, and they will come back to me and say thank you. Even without my consent, understanding what had happened. So what are you thanking me for again? And that's the way I think it should be. Yeah. Once they see that, they know that we give a whole lot of things to mothers on Mother's Day. On Father's Day, we don't do so much for fathers. So what message do you have for aspiring fathers, aspiring husband, that one that is, looking up to your husband to see, I can be this kind of man if only I can find a good wife to support me also.
Well, that's the first thing I would say, is that you have to find the right partner. And that is not some pre-described list of what you should have in a woman. That is the person that's right for you.
A pre-described list.
Right. You have to find your spouse. You have to find your mate, the one who is compatible with your ebbs and flows, and once you do that, I think you've already done a great thing. You found a good wife, which is a good thing, right?
Even the Bible recommended.
Exactly. Once you do that, I would say that children grow in the direction of light. So whatever you are putting attention on, that is what you are teaching them to do. If you're constantly putting attention on negative things, and they see that's the way to get daddy's attention, daddy's gone all the time unless I'm in trouble, and then he comes and he gives me a spanking or whatever.
And that's all they see.
That's the attention, that's the kind of behavior you're gonna get. But if you have a father who is noticing talent, that they can write well, that they're really good at, even, that they clean their room consistently or something like that, that's the kind of thing you can put attention on. I personally am always just giving my husband kudos in the house. Even if I bought something, I'll say, Dad, look what Daddy got you, because Daddy's not around as much as Mommy, and I know that he would be if he could be. Yes, but he's actually working on both of our behalf. So I too can work on both of our behalf.
Thank you for doing that.
Mention him. Well, thank God. Mention him as much as possible. And
let the children understand its significance in the home.
Yes, and we're in business together, so we often take our children to the office in the evenings and things like that, so they get to see him working with his clients, with our clients, and I think that does a lot for our family unit. They realize, like, Daddy is actually working.
I love that, because they see him. Yeah. They see him doing it. And to me.
For me, I would say just making good memories constantly. I mean, especially with children, one thing my husband does that I value so much is he travels a lot as well. Whenever he comes back, he spends time with the children. Like, they're running around the carpet, jumping around, making a mess, cleaning up the mess together. So it's just, there's power in us. Just that usness, where it's like, okay, you're creating these memories, you're making those neural connections that these children will remember. Oh, I remember when Daddy and I remember when we did this, I remember when we did that, I remember, and so as much as I can do in his absence, there's power to his 1 hour in one day, or 1 hour even in a week. that he spends that quality time with them and makes those good memories, and is a disciplinarian but is also the fun dad who did so much for them. And
there's a way you discipline your child in love.
And you talked about advocating for good men. Whoever is listening to this right now, there are good men out there. There are great fathers, great husbands out there. The statistics tell you, all men are cheaters and blah, blah, blah. It's a lie. There are good, godly men out there. And as women, because we're the ones advocating right now for good men, our job is to be the light. You said, they gravitate towards light. It's not just children. Everyone gravitates towards positive, towards light. If you make your home a conducive place, a happy place, no man will go out there and not want to come back to a house that is full of love, full of respect, and full of appreciation.
Where he feels at home. Yeah.
For him,
the home should be a safe haven.
Yeah, so if a lot of men are running away from home, well, check yourself. Maybe you're the one making...
Thank you.
So I want to also add to what you said. There are a lot of good men out there, but there are also a lot of imperfect men who just need the right kind of
partner.
love. They just need somebody who will work with them, who will meet them where they are, and who will grow with them. I have brothers, I have male cousins, I have uncles. Those are not perfect men, but it doesn't stop me from loving them, right? I think in the same way, I always joke, some days my husband is my lover, sometimes he's my annoying older brother, sometimes, he's all these different things to me. He's not a perfect man, but he's my man, and so that's why I have a responsibility to help him grow, help him achieve the things he wants to achieve, because I'm the number one beneficiary of that, when he does those things. Exactly. My children get to have resource, they get to grow up in a happy home. That is something to be said for this world, this 21st century world. We are blessed, and for me, if I have to, do some things I don't want to do sometimes, make some compromises I don't want to make for the success of this thing that we're doing together, I'm more than willing to do it. And I have a great partner who affirms me, who loves God, and who is leading us into a greater vision.
And if I can just say one more thing. The Bible says a wife or a woman is a helpmeet for her husband. God did not give you a perfect person. He gave you someone with certain imperfections that you have been divinely equipped to meet those needs in that person. So which is why you are the perfect spouse for that person, because your strengths will more than likely be that person's weakness, because God has paired both of you to fill the spaces and
for
fill
each
in
other.
The gaps for each other. So it's your responsibility, and actually what makes you valuable to that person is their weakness happens to be your strength. So when you don't criticize and down them too much for their deficiencies, and you realize I'm actually strong in this area because I'm here to help you with that, but wait a minute, that's actually what makes you love me and value me.
I think we should have another session where we have all good women talk about their good men. I love this session. I love it so much. My pastor always says, a child mirrors his environment, right? They become, in the time past, you can teach them whatever. Now it's what they see you do that they imitate, right? So a quick shout out to your husband and all the masculine people in your lives and your families.
Thank you.
We wish all your husbands a happy Father's Day, or if you want to say it to the camera yourself, so you can mention his name so he knows you appreciate him, please.
All right.
Just for a few seconds.
Toby, Abura Sade, I love you. I'm wishing you the happiest Father's Day. You are a great asset to our family, and I hope that God will continue to bless and increase you for many years to come. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Well, happy Father's Day, Mr. Shea Alesh, Mr. Ololufe. I love you very much. You're the best dad our children could ever have. You're the best husband I could ever have, and I'm grateful for you. And my prayer for every woman out there looking for a spouse is that they find find a spouse who brings as much joy to their lives as you've brought to mine. So happy
Amen.
Father's Day.
Great.
Now I feel like my wife should be here just to wish her happy Father's Day.
You are amazing. Happy Father's
awesome.
Day.
You're a great
yes,
guest.
you're doing a great job.
For 15 good years.
Yes.
Doing this means that you're.
It takes a handful to tolerate me. I'm a total package.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But you know, happy Father's Day to all the amazing fathers. Thank you for being in the lives of your wife. Your children adore you, and I'm sure they do. And please, mothers, allow your children to love their father. Please allow them to express how they feel about their father, and give room also to your husband to cherish you and the children. You know, maybe until we'll see again or meet again. I'm enjoying this episode. I didn't want it to end, but I wish every man, responsible man that is, a happy Father's Day.
Welcome to CFAX Global Logistics, where your ultimate satisfaction is our goal. We make your shipping needs a worthwhile experience. As a licensed freight forwarder, CFAX Global Logistics offers air and sea freight, procurement and supply chain, project logistics, warehousing and storage services. Call us at 281-820-9000 or 832-593-3067. We offer prompt, effective, qualitative services, and damage-proof delivery is our guarantee. What's more, we offer the lowest competitive rate for your shipment. You can call us at 281-820-9000 or 832-593-3067. So, to ship your next products and goods across continents on the next available flight or ship at a price that can't be beat, come to our office located at 8180 Southwest Freeway, Houston, Texas 77074 for your shipment and logistic services. CFAX Global Logistics, the trustworthy and reliable partner for your logistic need.
The Royal Event Center, located at 6603 Langham Drive, Houston, Texas, is an event center that houses approximately 300 guests. It is designed to host any style of event, from weddings to birthdays, anniversary meetings, or even small intimate affairs. The Royal Event Center has you covered. Combining unique interior designs that are state-of-the-art, it includes the main event hall with well-designed entrance and complimentary parking space. It also features a separated lobby. We have 5 restrooms for men and 5 restrooms for women. The hall is located in a gated and peaceful environment, allowing for maximum security of people and property.
For inquiries, call 281-550-0400, 281-716-2099.
Welcome back to My Community on Afrocentric Television Channel 15.8. Today, we are bringing in one of our people, our guest, our partner, I would say, in this, because this is a major challenge in Houston, especially. You know, I can only speak for Houston as at this moment. One of the things we go through is the challenge of getting our Nigerian passport, e-passport they call it. You know, he wears a lot of hats, I would say. His name is Pastor Abolaji Ayobami. He's also the Vice President of FATAP Global and FDN. He also is the coordinator of the consular services in the state of Texas. You know, what they do there is they process the e-passport production, and they facilitate that, the Nigerian visa, the emergency travel certificate. Also, in general, he is an energy consultant and a global business consultant. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I know you do a lot of things.
Yes, sir.
But today, as you can see the energy in me, today we are going to be talking about a major challenge facing Houstonians precisely. You live in Houston.
Yes, sir.
You're based in Houston with your family.
Yes, sir.
Why are we experiencing a huge challenge in securing a Nigerian passport, given that Houston has the most diverse culture and the highest concentration of Nigerians in the United States? We should have an embassy here.
That's correct.
But we do not. Because we do not, your services provide some intervention services where, on behalf of the consulate, you arrange where people come for their fingerprints, their biometrics and all of those things. And then you collate all of those information and get it over to the consulate.
Yes, sir.
However, there is still a lot of challenge and this thing happens, it doesn't happen every 2 weeks. It happens once in a while, a long while, maybe twice a year, or 3 times a year, something like that. And there are different other services. Tell us, why are we experiencing these challenges?
Thank you very much. Actually, the problem that Nigerian faces is caused by, first of all, the inability of Nigerians themselves to keep to the time and the date on their e-passports. What we have seen in the past is that people wait until the last moment to realize that their passports are expired, whereas the opportunity is that 6 months before the expiration of every passport, you can renew your passport.
Oh, I thought it was 3 months.
No, it's 6 months.
Or could that be because maybe there's not enough awareness?
Not enough awareness, and the attitude of our people to our home passport is not like the attitude of our people to having the blue American passport. Until when Nigerians want to travel, they don't think of
feel the need to.
Exactly. So most of the time, the passport will have expired 3-6 months ahead, before time, and they will just think, I can just grab it and go to Nigeria because since I'm going to Nigeria. But international law says that any traveling document, passport, biometric, must have 6 month validity.
Validity.
So
that I'm aware of.
Our people, we have a nonchalant attitude to keeping our own thing current. Now, whenever they have the opportunity to now travel, or when they need it for either immigration services or something, they come up en masse. And like you said, Houston, especially the state of Texas, have the largest concentration of Nigerians. I remember I was speaking with one of the mayors, the past mayor in Houston, some 4 years or 5 years ago, that gave me a round figure as at that time, that there are about 415,000 legally resident Nigerians in
the state of Houston.
In Houston alone. Not the state of Texas.
45 or 400
415,000.
That's point something million.
That's almost 500,000 people. And that is as at 4 or 5 years ago when the former mayor, Anis Parker, was there.
Yeah,
but
Denise Anis Parker.
Exactly. But the thing is that another suburb, the other areas, there are Nigerians scattered everywhere. In Dallas, in San Antonio, in Austin.
In neighboring cities, yeah.
So the problem you identify was that the non-availability of a consulate in Houston.
That's one, but we understand that there's none, right? But in the absence of that, your service comes to play.
That's right.
Yet we're experiencing those delays. And one of the delays you mentioned is that Africans or Nigerians' nonchalant attitude and the delays and then the last minute,
rush preparation.
Okay, those are there.
Yeah.
Now, I have subscribed. I still believe in the process.
That's right.
Maybe that's one of the things that's still not working or working against the timing. One of the things I experienced is, I've never done it personally, but I've recommended a lot of people, because I share it whenever that I get the information that, I share it with people that I know, hey, you need to go get your passport done, you need to get it renewed and whatnot. But there seems to be a lack of process.
Thank you. The lack of process is our disorganization. When Nigerians that live in Texas want to have this driver license or ID, we go to the Department of Public Safety. Now, people go there and they do everything in order. They go fill their form, they pick up the line. But like I said, our people always think, okay, is it not a Nigerian thing? We can find our way to do it. They are never prepared. Number one, there's a process of application, which you can be done online. There is a company that they outsource it to, they call them Innovate One.
Then
if you fill that application, if you are not sure, you can misfill it, because the country that you are supposed to be the country where the renewal is supposed to come through. But because Nigerian goes there, because it's a Nigerian thing, they will choose Nigerian. That means at the end of the application, the cost or the fee for the application will be asking for the money in Naira. But it's supposed to be the United States or Canada or whatever, and you'll be in US dollars. Now, the cost of that production in Nigeria is different from the cost of production in America. You cannot convert the currency, like, okay, if it is $100 here, it should be
36,000.
No, it doesn't work like that, because there's other things in between. So our people have a problem in filling that thing out. Then secondly, family, like father, mother, and the children. So the Innovate Services company, when you fill the application, you have to fill it one by one for everybody, even if you have 6 or 7 children.
I understand that.
But during the process of payment, the father, because he's the one that's going to pay, and he has his either debit or credit card
or whatever,
the name on top of the card is his own personal name. He cannot use that card to pay for the whole family, except he registered that card under the family name, which takes 2 to 3 days before Innovate to approve it, that he is the owner of the card. So once they find out that all of them bear the same last name, they can now allow him or her, or if it's his mother, to use that card to pay for the application.
So these are challenges, right?
Yes.
And I know you still have more to come. However, why don't you or your service, your company, since you provide that service, put out a video, a 2 minutes long video, or something like that, because you can't teach me, or you can't sell to me what I don't know.
That's right.
Right? I learn in the process, right? And if I find your service absurd, like something like it's out of the norm, it's just negative, whatever, I may not come back next time.
That's correct.
And I will tell the world that they are just fraud.
Yes.
They are just this. They are negative names.
That's
right. However, if you can put out a video instructing people of the process it takes. We see all these things on YouTube. We see them on paid ads on social media. What people can do, the necessary steps they can do before they get to you. And then when they get to you, you can restrict the way. It does not matter if you know the CEO of Innovate One.
That's correct.
You can't know the CEO of White House.
No.
And still come to FBI building to say you want to do your passport, and they will let you in.
No, they won't.
It is not possible.
That's correct.
So if you can respect them, you should be able to respect us. And the fact remains, you still, this is what observation tells us, right? That some of your team still allow people to cut corners, to just jump the queue and come to the front. Why don't we have that system where you have the tally number? You come in, you pull your tally number, and while you pull your tally, you sit down and cross-check. There's a TV telling you, giving you the step-by-step, ways or process that you need to undergo before you even come before the window.
That's right.
So by the time you get to the window, you have everything readily available. It's a process, and if you're willing, when next you're bringing the service to Houston, if you let us know, we can come together and collaborate on this, and we can have a better process. And because we don't want Afrocentric's name to be at stake, we would work with you on the process and to bring in, because we want the best for our people. It costs so much to go to Atlanta.
That's right.
It costs so much to go to Washington, D.C.
Exactly.
And a whole lot to go to New York. You still have to be there for days, maybe 2 on the minimum, before you can, and that's even if you get there and they don't tell you that there's no passport, passport booklets, or the embassy is closed because there's a holiday in certain, on which we do not know about. These are the things you as a company need to inform people about.
Okay, sir, let me come in. Actually, the services we offer is a voluntary service. About 2012, the former ambassador...
A voluntary service, maybe that's where the problem also is again. Maybe that's why you weren't able to give people directive. Put a fee to it. Okay. You're saving them a ton of money anyway. Hotel fee,
that's right.
Feeding fee, and travel cost, and even airplane tickets. You're saving them a whole lot of money. So if you say to you for your service, $50, $100, whatever it is you want to come to, that is not going to break the bank for these people, impose it on the price. It is what it is. If the embassy is going to be collecting $150, $200 to give you a passport, even after I travel to any of these 3 states to get my passport done, and now you want to bring comfort to me, biometrics, everything, I can get it done, and you take it upon yourself to take it to the consulate, and then they mail you your passport. That's comfort.
That's good.
You have to be able to pay for the comfort. I don't care if you're coming as a family. For individual one that we're going to be processing, it's $50 or $100, and that is the fee charged to us. It is a voluntary service to the consulate. Just that's what your company offers. However, we are charging you for this to be done. And when people pay to get a service, trust me.
Thank you.
They actually do something.
You see, thank you very much, because we're in America, which is a capitalist society. And nothing comes for free.
Nothing.
And I really appreciate that you articulated that people should know that when you put a value or a price on something, you must get the value of what
you're paying for.
But the problem that we have, that I've seen in the past 8 years that we've been involved in this, is that people don't want to put a price on it. They think everything should come just like that. But
then that reduces the number of people
that you deal with.
Yeah,
exactly.
You just deal with the real people. When next they see your process go, within 2 weeks they get their passport, trust me, the next one you will see.
Come back. Yes.
And I think it should be more than 2-3 times a year. It should be like every quarter, every 2 months or something.
Normally, you see, the consulate is not meant to come out to the field. The reason why they come for interventions like this is because when we have a high number of people that have applied that could not make the move to the consulate, then they will use us as a humanitarian service to come and meet them at the site.
And that should be quarterly that should still be at least quarterly.
And that is where the fee comes up, because for them to come, the government of Nigeria does not pay them to come. They come voluntarily and they have to pay their...
But we make money for them anyway. I mean, people get visa. You can imagine if I want to do my passport, $200, assumption. But for me to get a visa on my US passport, it cost me over $300.
That's right.
So I'm saving more money anyway.
Exactly.
For a long time, US visa is only a one-time use, or even if it's multiple entry, maybe 2-3 years, thereabout. But my passport still lasts me 5 years. And now they're making it 10 years or so, right?
Well, they started the 10 years, but it has not come
taking effect. Let's just say at least it's going to last me 5 years. So for the next 5 years, I'm getting more for my money. So it's only someone that is very, very unreasonable that will not take advantage of that. And I know a lot of people that are going to work because of their family. They can't just up and leave. If you have 3 children, 4 children, you want to fly everybody. It's the same rate for you to fly by yourself.
Exactly.
And you can't, and you still have to go there, book hotel for them, feed them, and do all of those things.
So inconveniences, you have to leave
and
your
you have
job
to tell me that
everything.
if I'm paying a convenient fee of $50 per head, I'm not going to. I'll take advantage of that.
That's good. I wish everybody could have that kind of idea.
No, but we need to put the word out there, though.
You mentioned something about educating our people. This is what my organization have been doing, to educate them why this is this, why you have to pay this amount of money for cover booklet fee, to cover administrative fee, to cover transportation fee. So when you go to, there are a lot of people that are doing this agency job now, collecting stuff.
And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. I really, really do want to talk about that.
But let me address the consulate one. See, the consulate has been very effective lately, rather than where it was 10 years ago, 8 years ago. Because when people that are processed from Nigeria, the immigration officers, when they come, they try to understudy what was there before, look at people like us to find out how can we improve, which I've seen a lot of great improvement. But Nigerians have to understand that we should take the ability of saying, after all, it's Nigerian government out. We have to work in synergy. We have to help to make this thing happen. For example, you mentioned something.
You can't have a company here in America and someone can just walk in and think it is your business.
But
you structure it. It does not matter. Create a straight line. Nobody jumps the line. Take a tally number. Sit down. When it's your turn, we call that number. If you do not respond the first 2-3 times, we'll call on the next number.
Exactly.
And you skip your turn.
And you don't cut corners. You don't look who is who. I mean, I know somebody know. We've done some successful one here that is very successful. I remember our 564, 500, 250.
That's significant number. 500 people.
That's true. Within 3 days. Huge. And you know there was no.
And that's another thing. Within 3 days. So that's something. We should be able to extend it to like a week.
No, the reason is that the consulate officers are covered within the consulate. So whenever they come for that 3 days, that's why they come on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was out of the office norm. If anything
and then we
happens to
should
them,
do it.
so
That's why we need to protect them also.
Exactly.
We need to protect
but this
them.
is what we could have done that make it effective. I've suggested this to the Consular General and the head of immigration, the immigration attaché, that if we want to do 100 people or 200 people in a weekend, like you said, the application must have been done 3-4 weeks before the time. The payment processings have been done. Then we allocate numbers per day. This number, 20 or 40, can come on first day, second day, third day.
However much
and
we can accommodate.
Then they're going to wait for the next round,
which is going to be in another quarter. We need to. I think we need to talk
like
after the show. We need to sit down and talk, because I can pitch in on the way the process works. Right? We have developed a strategy for different companies, even here in America, to work, and the process flows. I have a business in Nigeria, in Chad, that runs itself. I don't have to be there because I created the process, right? And so why can't we do it for our home front? We can do it. So after the show, I think you and I need to sit down, talk about this, and see how we can together make this work, right? And also, I noticed we don't have booklets, they call it.
Okay. Let me address
that challenge. I really want to hear this.
You know, every time they saw there's no booklet, it worries me too, because number one...
So it is true there are no booklets?
Well, sometimes there's no booklet because the printing companies, I don't know, the government of Nigeria outsourced the printing to some private companies. Now, the outsourcing...
In Nigeria or
not
outside?
Even in Nigeria.
Malaysia.
So a country like Malaysia, can you imagine? They're printing our own Nigerian passport in a country like I don't know how far it is true, in Malaysia during the last administration.
Don't we print our money in Nigeria?
No, I just found out that even the central bank outsourced the printing of our money to another country. This was not like that before, because you remember we
don't print our own currency?
No, we don't. You know, we have Nigerian security printing and mincing.
Okay, I need to calm down.
We have a Nigerian security printing and mincing press in Nigeria before.
That's what I was hoping. Those are the people that should be,
80s.
And it's very well secured.
That's right. But you know, some things have been diluted, and most of the things that we find out is corruption related, because when you outsource something, you have to deal with it in foreign currency like US dollars. But if it is within Nigeria, you have to look the local currency.
And then when they see the lump sum moving to your account, they already know they can trace it back to where it's coming.
So people use it to hide money overseas, and they give their friends contracts so that they can make a certain number of dollars. And when they go to another country, I can go to another country and negotiate some prices, and I tell them this is what the price is, and Nigerian government have to pay because I've negotiated with the country or whoever that is in charge. So it's all about taking something out of Nigeria, not giving something back to Nigeria. Now, for example, the passport is not a passport, is just a booklet until when your information is printed on it. I've challenged the government of Nigeria, why don't you print 2 million, 3 million, 5 million copies? The passport doesn't get expired until when they put information on top of it. So why don't you print so much for the number of, by statistics, we know how many people every year.
Yeah, that's what data analytics is there for.
Exactly.
You know, we can hire those data analytics to work around how things, people that does business intelligence.
Exactly.
You know, how things can work and how we can make things work. However, one of these things that's you know, I find it so disturbing is the fact that you have a service, and because you're registered with the consulate to do this intervention thing with them, there are several others that does the same thing you do. How so? Why? Because I know they only outsource the payment part and some other to innovate one. Why can't we have such like that in different cities like that? And designated partner. This is what Mr. Ayobami does, and this is his service that we're using. He's going to be our intervention guy for Houston.
That's right.
For Dallas, it could be this, or maybe for a region, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, and it's a hub. Even Louisiana, you can bring them all. It's easy to drive 4 hours, 6 hours. It is not just down to fly out there. So why are there so many?
You know, in a country like Nigeria, it's very complicated because we have different tribes, the Igbos, the Yoruba, the Hausas, and everybody. Now, influence coming. People now use influence of, if I'm a Yoruba man and I have another Yoruba person trying to reach me, they want to go through me, the Igbo want to go, Hausa want to go. But instead of us looking at ourselves as an entity, as a Nigerian.
You know why United States is flourishing?
Yeah.
Because it's called United States.
I mean, they
look at the name alone, United. They came together. Different states stands on its own. But then we have a country that binds them all together. That makes them a United States.
Sir,
50 of them.
If I tell you what happened in the consulate because of all these tribal something, you'll be surprised that whoever that is the aim of the affairs cater more to his people than other people. And I said it shouldn't be like that. We should cut across the board. Nigerians is Nigerians. Whether you are Yoruba,
if they want to do that, they should just have like You know, like they have passport offices in different states.
Yes, exactly.
Cater to your people in your own different states, which is fine with me because that is your state, which is you should be your responsibility anyway. But when you come to a place like United States, we have diverse ethnicities.
Exactly.
We have diverse backgrounds. We want to come together. All we're looking for is I am Nigerian first of all, and I need to get my Nigerian passport. Something, and I know they're coming up with an ID card.
ID card, national ID card. You see, what I expected Nigerian to do is that since the population census in state of Texas and its environment has overnumbered any other part of the United States, a consulate should be here permanently. I went to Nigeria.
That is the end solution.
Yeah.
But for now that we do not have one.
But this is another thing they can do. If we don't have a consulate, we can have what they call a mission post. A mission post is an administrative office where all those things we are talking about, passport, birth certificate, death certificate, visas.
But we do have countries with honorary consulates.
Oh, honorary consulates.
We can have that. But I mean, we are Nigerian. We are prominent. We have a name. This is Afrocentric. There are some people that know a lot of people that their integrity, their character, everything about them is at stake if they can take on that. Right. We are one of those people. They can approach us. They can say, and we try to approach them too, and say, you know what? Why don't we break this for you? Why don't you walk through us? Let's coordinate our people. Yeah. When I say our people, I mean Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, whatever tribe you're from. We are Nigerians to start with. We are lost here in Texas, in Oklahoma, in Louisiana, in neighboring states that can still come back together. And we can do this intervention thing for you. And then everything we do, and you know, it's just like working as a distributor. You know, as a wholesaler, as a manufacturer, I don't have to deal with 1 million retailers. I can have distributors in different regions, and I will give them the price they need to go with. And that's what they remit to me. They sell to other wholesalers. Other wholesalers sell to retailers. That's why there's a chain. Right? If only we can do that, we will be able to make it through.
So you see, the ball is in the court of Nigerians. You know what we can do? In 2014, I went to Nigeria because of this. They told me it's only the Senate that can make a law to make that kind of thing happen. Then the same thing in 2016, the present government.
So it is the Senate.
That the Senate, they are the one holding it.
Yeah, we need to come together as one and address the Senate.
Diaspora is, like you said, states of Texas and its suburb, is to come together. What they told me in 2014 is that we need 100,000 signature of Nigeria.
Really?
Exactly. So that once we can have it, we can send a petition to the Senate as well as the presidency and demand, if it is a mission post or honorary consulate, like you mentioned, that these people are so many here and they need the services of Nigerian government that is here. If they cannot move the consulate from Atlanta or from another place because of reasons, because
that they understand. Now we will bring the money to them, but just give us what we want.
The consulate is in Atlanta.
No worries.
Okay.
We don't need to go into that details, right? So now that we have that understanding, I think after the show we need to circle back together and talk about this whole thing, right? So I just want to thank you so much for taking your time to even expose yourself, because I know you said some things. Because it has to be said. People need to understand the reality of what they're dealing with in order to get a Nigerian passport issued to them. You know,
and we should address what is before we finish. There are some Nigerians that we have identified that like to write petitions. For example, this show now, some people may look at it and they say, oh, they brought him over here, they wrote. We are wasting our time doing that, because we should come as a united person in Nigeria. In America, do you know the mayor of the city was elected with about 297,000 votes when we have 450,000 Nigerians resident here? That means if we can come together, we could have.
And we supported him, and that's why he always referenced to us whenever he's talking that Africans got him in office. Right? So I just want to thank you, Mr. Ayobami, or Pastor Ayobami, for joining us today, for addressing this. We believe we will talk after the show to make this find a possible solution. We'll provide a solution.
I would love to come back to tell our people what are the stages and steps.
We need to do a video to address all of these things.
We could do that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I really appreciate it.
And for our viewers, you heard it all. This is not something that is funny to me. As you can tell, it got heated up. I mean, I have never had to do this intervention thing, but I've seen people do it a whole lot of times. The experiences they have is, I mean, it's beyond the norm. However, there's still a solution, and that's what we're going to be talking about after the show. Well, thank you for joining us. Please stay tuned as we continue with the show. Thank you. Welcome back to my community on Afrocentric Television Channel 15.8. I hope you enjoyed every segment. The discussion got heated up. Please pardon me. It just, it happens anytime I see us failing as a nation. That's Nigeria. Or I see us not getting where we need to be. It hurts just to see that whenever we're in the United States, we cooperate with the rule of law, with the policy, whatever is in place that we need to abide by. We do. But when it comes to us, something anyway, it just triggered some negative stuff in me. Not negative per se, but we just have to overcome all these challenges. So after the show, I will be partnering, not just myself, but the studio, Afrocentric. We will talk about a potential partnership to bring you a stress-free, effective way for this intervention, to intervene in this, obtaining your Nigerian passport and get it issued to you within the allotted time frame. And also, thumbs up and kudos to our mothers that came on the show today to talk about how significant their husbands are in their lives and in the lives of their children and everything. It is Father's Day coming up soon. And from myself and our studio, Afrocentric Television, Channel 15.8, we wish all responsible fathers a happy Father's Day. Enjoy.